By the end of today's episode, you'll know how Robert Downey Jr. went from being considered unhirable in Hollywood to becoming one of the highest paid actors in the world, and how his comeback principles can apply to your own acting career. Welcome to the Actor's Career Compass, where we help aspiring screen actors find high-quality auditions, sign with great agents, and book major roles in legit productions. I'm your host, Martin Benson, and today I'll be covering how Robert Downey Jr.'s career fell apart and why it didn't end there, the smart strategic steps he used to rebuild his reputation from the ground up, and what actors can learn about his mindset that will teach them resilience, responsibility, and how to find their strengths. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, take a quick moment to pause right now and leave a comment below. If you could rewrite one part of your acting career, what part would it be? I'll personally respond to as many comments as I can. All right, so let's talk about the rise and fall of Robert Downey Jr. So he grew up surrounded by Hollywood. His father, Robert Downey Sr., was a filmmaker who often put him in his movies as a kid. Robert Downey Jr. started acting at age 5, and his childhood, though, was a bit chaotic, right? He was exposed to drugs early, even by his own father, and in his teens, he had already become addicted. By the 1980s, he'd appeared in Weird Science, Less Than Zero, and then he earned serious acclaim for his performance of Charlie Chaplin in 1992. That role got him an Oscar nomination, and for a while he was considered one of the best actors of his generation. But soon his drug use got out of control. He was arrested numerous times for possession, and he spent time in rehab and even did some time in jail. He eventually got fired from Ally McBeal, which was a role that had earned him a Golden Globe, after another arrest. And then Hollywood stopped calling. Studios refused to insure him because he was just too risky to hire. But after all of this, he didn't give up. In 2003, after years of relapses, arrests, and public embarrassment, Robert Downey Jr. made a real commitment to recovery. He started therapy, practiced meditation, and surrounded himself with people who supported his sobriety. He also reconnected with his passion for acting, but this time he treated it like a privilege, not a right. He slowly started rebuilding his career through smaller projects like The Singing Detective and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Those movies didn't make much money, but they told Hollywood that he was rebuilding and rebranding himself. He didn't try to skip any steps. He took whatever work he could get and treated every role like it was his last chance, and he delivered each time. And then everything changed. In 2007, Marvel Studios was trying to launch a new superhero franchise with Iron Man. But Robert Downey Jr. was still a massive insurance risk. The studio didn't want him. The financiers didn't want him either. It was Jon Favreau, the director, who fought for him, saying, "The movie doesn't work without him." Eventually, Marvel agreed, but only under one condition. Robert Downey Jr. would only get paid a fraction up front. If the movie failed, he'd have to walk away with almost nothing. Well, he took the deal anyway. He showed up early, nailed every line, poured everything he had into that performance, and Iron Man took off. It not only relaunched his career, but it created the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the highest grossing film franchise in history. And within 5 years, the same man who had once been considered uninsurable was now earning over $50 million per film. Robert Downey Jr. often talks about how his past shaped his empathy and emotional depth. He said, "Job one is getting out of that cave." A lot of people come out of it a little more evolved. You can feel that evolution in every single role he plays. Think about how Tony Stark's arrogance hides his insecurity. Every rejection, every failure, every rough patch, if you learn from it, it becomes emotional depth that you can draw on later on camera. Robert Downey Jr.'s story is inspiring because it's not just something made up. It's a real story about personal responsibility, humility, and being consistent. Remember, your past does not define you. What matters is how you choose to respond today. Reputation is built through trust. If you're consistent and reliable, people trust you and will keep hiring and recommending you to others. Know your strengths. Robert Downey Jr. didn't try to be perfect. He leaned into who he was, and he used his flaws to his advantage. Use your pain. Real pain can be fuel for amazing performances. Finally, take personal responsibility. Your comeback starts the moment that you decide to take ownership of your habits and actions and begin to change them. The fact is, no matter what you've dealt with or where you are right now, you can work to turn things around and start rebuilding. Well, thanks for listening. Now, if you want to dive even deeper into how to rebuild your confidence and momentum after setbacks, I actually recommend episode number 182, How to Rebuild Your Confidence After Setbacks in Your Acting Career. In that episode, I break down simple ways to overcome challenges and get back on track. Perfect if you're in the middle of your own comeback phase. Check it out again, episode number 182, How to Rebuild Confidence After Setbacks in Your Acting Career. It's on the Actor's Career Compass. Now, if you found this episode helpful, I would really appreciate if you could just take a second to leave a quick review at ratethispodcast.com/actorsuccess. It really helps other actors find the show. All right? Thanks so much, and I will see you in the next episode.